back to our channel. So for today, we're going to talk about zeros of quadratic functions. So we're going to look for the zeros of quadratic functions. We have three main subtopics. Yes, we have three main subtopics under finding zeros of quadratic function. The first one is given a graph, we're going to look for the zeros of quadratic function. The second one is given a quadratic equation, we're going to look for zeros. And the third one is the vice versa. Given the zeros, we're going to write the quadratic function or equations. Okay, so those are the three objectives that we will have for this video. Let me present you my screen. Share it, share it, share it. So there you go. The first subtopic is about finding zeros of quadratic function from the graph. This is the easiest topic because given a graph, if you'll notice in here, zeros are also x-intercepts. They are also known as roots. They are also known as solution. We use different terms, but we're looking just for the same value. Okay, I will repeat. Zeros are also the solutions. They are also the x-intercepts, and they are also the roots. Okay, so in here, given a graph, so credit to the owner of this presentation. So I've attached the URL also in here. So given a graph, this is one is what we call parabola. Any point that touched by your graph on the x-axis, those are the zeros. So on this graph, the two green points are the zeros. So in here we have -1. Let me use this one. So in here we have -1. Don't forget the -1. And then in here, your parabola touched the x-axis into +2. So our zeros appear to be -1 and +2. Let us highlight that. So we have -1 and +2. So let us check first our answers. Okay, so the first one we have, the first zeros, the first zeros is -1. Take note that these are also the roots. So we will use this equation to check our answer. So we have y is equal to x squared minus x minus x minus 2. The reason why we call them as zeros, it is because the value of your y, when you check it, must be equal to 0. Now in here to check, we will change or substitute all the x by the -1 because that is the first zeros. So we have -1 square minus, in substituting or replacing the variable, make sure that you're using a parenthesis because sometimes we have a double sign like this one. Okay, then we have, when you square a negative, it will become positive. -1 square is equal to -1 times -1. So we have positive in here, and then negative times negative again will give you a +1, then -2. And now y is equal to 1 plus 1 is 2 minus 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. Yippee! So we've got the first zeros when x is equal to -1. So this will be the first zeros or roots. Next, how about if the x is equal to +2? Okay, so we're saying we will use the same equation. So we have y is equal to x squared minus 2. Minus x minus 2. Then replacing or substituting, plugging in the +2 in all x. We have 2 squared minus 2. Don't forget the parentheses. And then minus 2 in here. So as I repeat, when you square a positive 2, so it's still a positive. 2 squared is 4. That means 2 times 2. And then -2 times minus 2, I'm sorry. -2 minus 2 is -4. So we have now y is equal to 0 again. So that means that is a correct zeros. Okay. So we have -1 and +2. Easy, right? So those are the zeros given a graph. Let us give more example before you practice it. So for this one, we have a sad face because the quadratic term is negative. So we're looking for the zeros. To find the zeros, the first one is in here. It's in -3. And then the second one is in here. It's +1. So therefore, the zeros, let us just type them in here. Just put this one a little bit smaller because it is too huge. Let's make it normal. Put this one below. So the first zeros or the zeros we have x is equal to -3 and x is equal to +1. Don't get confused on those sign numbers and don't forget the negative sign. So those are the zeros. Very easy. How about this one, Miss? How about this one? It is a smiley face because your quadratic term is positive and it only touched the x-axis on its vertex, which is the peak point, and it is only 1 point. How can we answer it? Very easy and simple also. Therefore, you have the same zeros, which is -1. You may write your answer in like zeros. We have x is equal to -1. So that's it. And then if you will write the factors, okay, we will have 2. Hold on, -1. There you go. So if you will write the factors also, it will become x plus 1. So that's it. That is how we find zeros given a graph. Let me highlight this one. Okay, so that you will notice that it touched only the x-axis into 1 point, which is -1. Okay, next we'll proceed in the practice one. Because as always believe that there's no retention in learning if you will not apply it. Since this is the easiest, one of the easiest topic in here, please answer number 1 through 6. And I've also attached the URL for the worksheet that we will use. Credit to the owner of the worksheet. So it's on mathworksheetforkids.com. So please try it and then practice it. Practice what you've learned. Then just play the video when you're done. Next, we have finding zeros given a quadratic equation. This one also is very easy and simple. Okay, to find the zeros, that is why we recorded first how to factors and how to use another methods to solve quadratic equation, because in finding zeros given a quadratic equation, we can use different method. Okay, you may also check the other videos that we've uploaded on how to solve quadratic equation or functions, because those are the method that we will use to find the zeros if the given is equation. Like for this one, it is very easy to use a factoring method, or you may use a quadratic formula also, or completing the square. Whatever method that is easiest on your part, it doesn't matter. You may also use the graphing method by checking it on the Desmos graphing calculator. But let me use let me use a factoring in here. Okay, so since we have 2x² and we do not have a, make sure that if you know you know how to factor before you use a factoring method. Okay, so we need to factor -25 and our linear term is 0. Okay, our linear term is 0, so we are looking for the factor of -25. So we have -5 times 5 is -25. And then if you will add this to, you will get 0 since our linear term is 0. We do not have a linear term. Okay, the b value. So make sure that when you factor it, it satisfies your constant term, which is -25, and your linear term, which is 0. In here, we have 0 for the linear term. Okay, next, we're going to distribute or factor the x² by creating a two parentheses. So x times x, we have x². Then we will use the first root, which is -5. negative 5. And then the second root is 5. Then you may apply the ZPE. Okay, so x minus 5 equated into 0. We have x minus 5 equals 0. And then the second one, we have x plus 5 equals 0. Then equate it into x. So we're moving this one. Take note that when you move a variable on the other side of the equation, you will change the sign. So from negative, it will become a positive because we move it from left to right. Likewise in here, we were going to move the constant, which is positive 5, cross the equal sign. It will become now a negative 5. So the two roots are positive 5 and negative 5. Okay. So let us do the factors. Let me just type this one. Let me just type this one. Type this one. Okay. So for the factors, we will use, remember the difference between factors and zeros. Factors, they have parentheses, and zeros, they are the value of the x. So in here, we have x minus 5, and then times the quantity of x plus 5. Okay, that is the way that we write the factors. And then for the zeros, we're going to write x is equals to 5 and x is equal to negative 5. So those are the two answers for the factors and zeros. I told you, very easy and simple. Next, we'll proceed on the second example. There you go. B come first and then letter A. Okay. So in here, we'll have 2x squared plus x minus 3. So the quadratic term is 2x squared. The linear term is 1. So we have a linear term, and then the constant is negative 3. So we're going to use also a factoring method or quadratic formula in here. It's up to you, whatever you want. You may also use a Desmos graphing calculator to find the roots. So it's up to you. But I prefer, since I'm not using a Desmos graphing calculator or any graphing calculator, let me use a quadratic formula. I prefer to use a quadratic formula. So A is equal to 2. A while ago, we used a factoring. So B is equal to positive 1. And then C is equal to negative 3. There you go. Then we'll use the formula of a quadratic formula. It is negative B plus minus. I'm not sure if I can still memorize it. Is it square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So this is a quadratic formula. Yippee, yippee, yippee. Now we will replace or change all the variables by a parenthesis. So we have negative parenthesis and then plus minus. We'll just change all the variable by parenthesis. Okay, because we will plug in all the value of the A, B, and C there. Right? Very easy and simple. You may use this one also on the first example that we have a while ago. And then 2 times A. So we'll change the A by parentheses. Then let us plug in now the A, B, and C. For the B, we have positive 1 in here. B, the A is 2, and then the C is negative 3. And then 2A, the A is 2. Let us simplify it now. So we have negative 1 plus minus. Then don't forget the square root. 1 square is 1. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 times negative 3. Negative times negative will give you a positive. And then 8 times 3 is 24. All over 2 times 2 is 4. Let us continue this one in here. I know it's quite long, but it's just easy and simple. Okay, let us have now equals negative 1 plus minus. Let us simplify the number inside the radical symbol. So we have 1 plus 24 is 25. Oh my God, this is a perfect square. Square root of 25 is 5, positive and negative 5. Then 4. Then let us simplify it. We have negative 1 plus minus square root of 25 is 5. Don't forget the 1. Miss, you forget the 1 and then over 4. Then we'll separate for the x values. We have two roots in here, the x sub 1. Let us just write x sub 1 to represent the first roots and then x sub 2 to represent the second root. Okay. Then we'll separate the positive 5 into negative 5 in here. So we have negative 1 plus 5 plus 5 over 4. Sorry for my voice, but I prefer to sing sometimes when I'm teaching. And then negative 1 minus 5 over 4. Though I'm not a singer. Then let's proceed. X is equal to negative 5 plus negative 1 plus 5 will have positive 4 over 4. And any number you divide by itself, it's equal to 1. So we have 1s. So the first value of your zeros is 1. Oh my God, very easy and simple. And the second one, we have x sub 2 in here. And it's negative because negative 1 minus 5 will have negative 6 over 4. And they are both divisible by 2. So you can simplify your answer by negative 3 over 2. Or you may also write your answer in the form of decimal. It will become, how many twos you can get in 3? It's 1, right? 1 and 1 half. Don't forget the negative 1. Negative 1 and 1 half, or simply 1 half is also 0.5. So negative 1.5. There you go. Nice. Okay, how to write the factors? We'll just write them. We'll just write the factors in the form of groupings. Okay, so let me just edit this one. Ta-da-da-da. Ta-dee-da-da. Ta-dee-da-da-da. There you go. So let us write the factors. The first factor is x minus 1. It will become minus. Remember that we will move it into the other side. And this one is x plus 1.5. Okay, in here the zeros, we'll just copy them as it is on the answer what we've got. So the first zeros is x is equal to x minus x is equal to minus 1. And the other zeros is x is equal to negative. No, this one is positive. I will repeat. Zeros are x is equal to positive 1. And then the other zeros is x is equal to negative 1.5. Don't get confused between factors and zeros, that they are not the same sign numbers. So there you go, there you go. That is how we find the zeros given a quadratic equation. Now it's your time. It's your time to find the zeros and the factors of the given number 1 through 5. Find the factor zeros of quadratic function given the following equations. Whatever methods you may going to use, it doesn't matter as much as you find the factors and the zeros. Okay, if you want to use a graphing calculator, it's fine. If you want to use completing the square, factoring, and quadratic formula, whatever, as much as it is easier on your part, please find the factors and zeros. As we believe, there's no retention in learning. If you will not apply it, please apply what you've learned. Okay, and then please check out the next part of the video. This will be the third subtopic in finding the zeros, writing an equation or function given the zeros of quadratic equations. So in this one, it is a reverse of what we've learned previously. So we're going to look for the quadratic function or equation given the zeros. So for the zeros, we have negative 2 and 6. Okay, negative 2 and 6. Let me just use a red marker in here. So the first zeros we have, let us write first the zeros. We have negative 2, and then the second zeros is we have positive 6. Don't get confused on those sign numbers. Then we will write them in the form of factors so that we can easily write them into its function or equation. Okay, the first one we have x, it will become plus 2 because we will move it on the other side from negative, it will become positive 2. And then in here, x is equal to sine negative 6. So from positive, it will become a negative 6. There you go, from zeros, writing them first into the factors. Then we will, you may, whatever method also you may use in here, you may use a FOIL method. What is FOIL method means? Okay, FOIL method means, let us have the FOIL method in here. So for the FOIL method, let me just write them in here, okay. So FOIL method, FOIL method. So FOIL method stands for an acronym. It is an acronym. F means first term, then O means outer term. You've learned this one on your previous math. Outer term, we're just recalling it. And then I means inner term, and then term. And then L means last term, okay? So how are we going to use that me? So very easy and simple. We're going to look for the first terms. Okay, so let me show it through graph. So we have two first term in here, which is x times x. Okay, so that is the two first term. The x times x. We may write them in here if you want. So we have x times x. So x times x, you may simplify it and you will have x squared. And then outer term, the two outside term, okay, the x and negative 6. Don't forget the negative 1. So this is the O, outer term. X times negative 6. And then x times negative 6, you have negative 6x. Then after that, we're looking for the inner term. Inner term means the two inside number. So this is the inner term, 2 and x, okay? So we have 2 times x, 2 times x. 2 times x is 2x. Yes, you will just combine them, 2x. And then last term, the two last term, we have the two constant, which is the 2 and the negative 6. That is how we use the FOIL method. The two last term, we have 2 and negative 6, the two constant. And 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. And then in here, we can combine these two since they are both linear term. So negative 6 plus 2x is negative 4x. And that's it. We will just rewrite them in here. So the equation or the function, it depends of what you're looking for. For example, we're looking for the function of x. So we'll start with the quadratic term, which is x squared. And then minus 4x because we simplified it, minus 4x. And then minus 12. That's it. That is how we answer it. There you go. So the answer is this one. Okay, let us type our answer in here. So the answer is the function of x is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 12. Any question? That's it. Very easy if you will use or apply the FOIL method. Let's have another exercise or practice one. So for this one, same, given the two roots in here. So they are already written in zeros. So let us rewrite them in the factor form. So we have x minus 3. It will become negative 3. Okay, don't get confused on that. And then we have also x negative 2. Then we'll apply the FOIL method, first term. The first two terms we have x squared, because x times x is x squared. And then the outer term, the two outer term, we have x times negative 2, we have negative 2x. And then inner term, negative 3 times x, we have negative 3x. And then last term, the two constant for method. So we have negative 3 times negative 2 will have positive 6. Okay, take note of that. Negative times negative is positive. Then we have two linear term in here in which we can combine them. So the answer is equal to x squared. Negative 2x minus 3x will have negative 5x. Okay, negative 5x. Careful on your sign number and then plus 6. There you go. So that is the answer. This is a quadratic equation. Okay, that is the answer. So let us write our answer on the box so that we can highlight it. So the answer is y is equal to x squared minus 5x plus 6. And that's it. Another application for this video. Practice what you've learned for our retention of this learning. Please answer A, B, C, D, and E. Write the equation given the following zeros of quadratic equations using a FOIL method. So hope that you've learned, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for your time.